Hello. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Realized I didn't have enough water. So I had to get me some water, y'all. Let's see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. Forgot to take my Zyrtec. Just took my Zyrtec because my eyes is watering. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Who we got? Who we got on the line? Who here? Say hi. Make sure. Let me know you can hear me and everything. I'm looking a little crazy to me. I don't know if the angle is right. Okay. All right. Who's here? Make sure you put a one in the chat. I know we trying something different. Last week I thought going live at 4 worked pretty well, but last week was it last week? Last week was Super Bowl. Who all saw Bad Bunny? I know a lot of people was upset, but I loved it. I mean, I think today might be the first day I haven't watched it in replay. I've been watching it on replay. Hey y'all. Hey Esty. Hey Melissa. Miss Melissa. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. Obviously, I am not fluent in Spanish, which I should be. I took it in high school, college. Hold on, y'all. Let's get this gum out of my mouth. High school, college. Got a ton of Mexican friends who, obviously speak English and Spanish. So there's no reason I shouldn't be more fluent. I can understand it. Thank you, Esty. I can understand it reading it the best. I can only say certain words correctly and things of that nature, but I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. He did his thing. If I was Puerto Rican, I'd have been super proud. But he was representing for everybody, in my opinion. Yeah, Esty. I mean, yes, 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 yes. It was the bomb. I loved it. I loved it. Like I know some people had to watch it again and be like, "Oh yeah, I get it." From the very first, beginning, I was up. My husband was looking at me crazy, but he he thought I knew how to speak Spanish because when we went on our first date, I kept just using like little Spanish words, and I just kept saying, "Oh, poquito, la da da," mijo, da da da. So he thought I knew how to speak Spanish. So I was like, boy, I know a few little words. But anyway, y'all, so this is tell me something good Sunday. So if y'all got any wins from last week, definitely put them in the chat. Today's top discussion is a little bit different. I was gonna do a long form video about this, but I was like, you know what? We're gonna talk about it on the live and just catch up and just see what's going on. I do have every intention to record a good chunk of the content I told y'all about last week. But yeah, that's the on the agenda starting tomorrow. I may even try to record one this evening. Yeah, foreign language. That's one thing. So since I was what 3, I have I know I can't even get out. Since I was 3, I've known how to count to what is it 20 in Spanish because they taught it to us in daycare, and so I wish that I would have had that opportunity to be immersed in Spanish when I was younger, because I do this all the time. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go and do learn Spanish, this and that, and y'all already got a idea of how chaotic my life is. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever learn fluent Spanish, but yeah, I wish I had. So what's my win? Excuse me, y'all. Um this is my win. So it's a little bit of a story. So my win is when you realize that you have gotten to a level of discernment. I know that word could be triggering for some people because you hear it a lot in the JW culture. But let me tell you what I mean by this being my win and like my level of discernment. So I have gotten to a point in my life. I'm 51 now, and I would say officially once I turn 50, like my mindset is just different. And so um in January, I took part in this workshop, and it really caused me to really do some soul searching and some deep thinking about what do I really want out of life? Like what kind of life do I really want to live? And so with all that, I've come to the conclusion I want to be debt free by the time I'm 55. So technically, I got what about 5 years, right? Because I haven't even been 51 a month yet. So you got 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. And I say I got 5 years because even if I become debt free the day before my 56th birthday, it's like mission accomplished. So in doing that, at this moment, a part of that strategy is I need to get a job outside of my clinic, my practice, outside of doing sister lots. Because when I say debt free, I want to be like Oprah and Michael Jordan and them. I just want reoccurring bills, right? Bills that everybody got. Everybody gonna get a cell phone bill. Everybody got to pay car insurance. Everybody got to pay their utilities, groceries, things like that. That's what I want to get to, including my student loans, which is my biggest debt. I feel like I'm cut off. Okay, maybe I should do it like that. I feel like I was just like, like y'all could only see like the chin up. So, all right, said all that to say. So I started looking for positions. I only wanted to get a position on my RN license so I don't have any conflict of interest working as an NP for somebody else and all this stuff. So came across this job posting, and it said RN case manager, and that's what I had been looking for, like case management, RN case management jobs, RN patient navigator, things of that nature. And these are positions where they're not direct patient care, so I ain't got to be changing booties, giving pills, things like that. It's a lot of education. Hold on, y'all. Go lay down. Go. No. Sorry, y'all. It's that little one. He really been on one lately. He just act like he got to be right in my face all day. It's just I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he like low key in heat or something. I don't know because he's still intact. He still got his man parts. But anyway, applied for the position. Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. 7 o'clock in the morning, they was reaching out to me Thursday morning. So I'm like, okay, they own it. That's cool. Set up for a phone interview to be that Friday. By Thursday afternoon, they like, okay, so you have the license. You okay with the territory? They told you the territory where the patients will come from, and I was like, yeah, da 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 da. But that kind of made my antennas go up because I was like, they moving real fast. So it was given they need a warm body. I've been in those situations even as a teacher where it's like, oh, they just need a warm body. They don't care about me or am I really a good fit or whatever. Thursday afternoon, the lady texts back and say, actually, can you come in for an interview tomorrow? So I'm like, okay. So we went from a phone interview for Friday to an in-person interview. And Went to sleep Thursday night, had some of the craziest, I don't even know if I want to call them dreams or downloads or whatever you want to call them. But everything in those dreams was like, girl, we not about to do this, right? Because you have to go into people's houses. And so when I woke up that morning, I said, oh yeah, I'm not doing this. I said, but I'll still go on the interview because it's been a long time since I've had that, interview for a position. I end up going. The people were very pleasant, very professional, but they also are very good at letting you know. It was like I don't even know how to describe it. It was like they told me that it's a hot mess job without saying it's a hot mess job, if that makes sense. But after I sat there and listened and questioned and all this stuff, I was like, well, I was so proud of myself, the level of discernment, because it's easy to go for the first thing, right? Or if you feel like, oh, if I start now, I can, I can money up real good in March and April and this, honey, discernment could be your best friend, because like it just, after that interview, it just double confirmed that I have no interest in home health. So now I'm aware, I have the level of discernment that when some of these positions say RN case manager, that's not what they mean. It's a way to kind of trick a person into thinking that's what it is, you know? Um, as he said, field service was already bad enough. Exactly. So, y'all, I was like, I asked them about safety. They gave like a standardized, response. But I got to thinking, I said, you don't know who these people are. And I had quit a job before. I was a nurse, uh, nurse clinical care coordinator. So I was responsible for monitoring when these people get discharged from the hospital. These are people who were like on Medicaid, following up with them, making sure like they had a follow-up appointment, make sure they was able to get all the medications that they were supposed to, make sure they had no barriers as far as transportation to get there and things of that nature, educating them on what they was in the hospital for, things of that nature. I really like that job. Like that's what I am currently looking for now, because that falls under like case management, patient navigator, and things of that nature. And what was I about to say? So she say, oh, so I got to thinking, I was like, you don't know who these people are, right? You can go in, it could be some older lady, right? But her son or grandson could be on the SEX offender list. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, here it is, you thinking getting a job will get you closer to these goals and things of that nature, but it ain't worth it. You don't know who these people are. You don't know, like, I'm allergic to cats. I don't know if they got a house full of cats. Hell, I don't know if they got a house full of dogs. Just because I'm not scared of dogs don't mean that they dogs are well trained, right? You don't know if they got SEX offenders in their house. And so God bless those who feel called to do it. I get it. It's because I went to YouTube and was looking at what other people were saying, about home health nurse and things of that nature. Because that's basically what the position ended up being. It was smoke and mirrors by trying to call it RN case manager. And the description made it seem like from time to time, I would need to follow up, right? Like if the LPN, the wound care nurse or something like that, like if I needed to go out, then I would go out. Yeah, if you got to go into a person's house here and there, okay. But just day in, day out, no, 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 no. Then they start, I don't want to take y'all down there. Anyway, so the whole point of that story is, when you take a minute, and I have really kind of, I don't want to say I've mastered it yet, but I have gotten really strong in taking a pause and saying, okay, is this what I really want? Or, looking at the big picture so that I can make a good, sound decision for me. So even though, um, I could have said, oh, I can make this work, this and that. And I'm guilty of that. I'm the queen of I can make anything work, right? I just feel like whatever cards I got, I'm gonna make them work. I'm gonna make the best hand possible. And sometimes that could be a good thing, and sometimes it could be a bad thing. So I have been making a conscious effort that take that make anything work hat off and use your discernment. So, like I said, I did the interview, and if nothing else, if I didn't walk away with nothing else, I walked away with a good way to respond, because when people see that you're an MP and you're applying for an RN job, they're gonna always think like, is this just a filler job? Why, and this and that. So I was able to come up with a good explanation, which is the truth. Being an MP makes my assessment skills stronger, right? So I could be an asset to any organization in that regard. And also because I already have, and I haven't been telling them that I own the clinic. I just make it seem like I'm an employee, which I am. Um, I don't want to have a non-compete clause. So I was like, if nothing else, now I got an answer for that, because I'm gonna keep getting that, long as I apply for RN positions. But anyway, y'all, so that's my long-winded win. That's my long-winded win, that grown lady discernment is a blessing. So right now, I had put in some positions that based on the description, I think I would be a good fit for, with an insurance company. So we'll see what they talking about. And it's hybrid. So it's, you just will go out and do your assessments and collaborate, at basically nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities. So nursing homes, rehabs, things of that nature, memory care. And then the rest of it you work from home, because they want to make sure that you have a designated area that you can, you know, contribute to work. And then of course you're dealing with patient information, so it needs to be, you know, uh, uh, somewhere, not in the open where everybody can see your computer. So I got that. So we'll see how that go. And then I did put in, for some positions, with the state, so government job. So we'll see, y'all. But I was like, I have to keep pushing. I can't just be out here. I don't want to do patient care no more, y'all. Like, if it's not patient care, like at my clinic, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't be wiping booties and passing meds, and I'm too old for that now. But yeah, so that's that part. So as y'all saw the thumbnail, and like I said, I was gonna do a long form video on this. I don't know how much y'all kind of follow the stuff that be, in on the internet and things like that. But it's a rapper named Glorilla. Her sister uh went live and kind of put Glorilla on blast. So Glorilla is from Memphis. I like a couple of Glorilla songs. They catchy. Some of them got some, good affirmations about them or what have you. So, if it come on the radio, I bop my head to it or something like that. But you can assume that she's had a level of success since kind of hitting it big with some of the songs that she did had in the last couple of years. Well, her sister decided to go live and just, basically tell all the family business, right? So it's 10 of them. It's 10 kids, mama and daddy. Glorilla in the last year or so, has been on the internet, out in media, saying that, her dad retired. I can't remember if she said she retired her dad or if he retired, but the sister's like, she didn't retire him and da 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 da. But anyway, if y'all ain't seen it, so just to try to give you a picture, imagine you working hard, getting it out the mud, as they say. You get to a level of success, uh, financially, right? And then all your sisters and brothers, all your aunties and uncles, your mama, your daddy, everybody in your family think that they supposed to kind of live the way you're living. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's basically what Glorilla's sister, in so many words, like that's to me, that's the underlying message. She wanna live the way her sister is living. And so because the sister was saying stuff like, what it looked like me pulling up to the club in a Chevy Malibu, and they like, ain't you Glorilla's sister? You know, what it like, you know, our mama still working at FedEx, told the mama what shift she work and all this stuff. It was just so crazy and deranged. So crazy and deranged, right? So the sister feels like because they grew up struggling. So the mama worked at FedEx, I guess, while they was kids. The daddy worked for the post office. So in general, you would think that those are some, halfway decent salaries. But if you got 10 kids, yeah, y'all gonna be in poverty. Yeah, y'all gonna be low income. Yeah, things gonna be stretched. You see what I'm saying? So um that was the situation with Glorilla and her sister. So I don't know if y'all remember this show. I think it used to come on HBO. It was called Survivor's Remorse, and you may have heard that phrase. Usually, it's attributed to like if you and somebody else was kind of like in a tragic situation, right? And you survived, you know, and they didn't, right? That's usually how it's applied. But we are seeing more, at least I am, more and more often survivor's remorse in situations like this, where one of us makes it out the hood, so to speak, right? And now you have all these people that feel like you supposed to put me on, or I'm supposed to live how you're living. And so let's talk about it. Do you think that, and I got a bunch of people that I want to kind of highlight, but in Glorilla's case, you could go Google and it could easily say somebody's net worth is $1 million. People don't understand that net worth just mean that don't mean liquid. That don't mean you got $1 million in the bank, $1 million in your pocket. It could be you own a home, you own maybe a luxury car, you might have some investments, and you might have a business and it's valued at this. It don't necessarily mean you got $1 million, liquid. And then let's think about it. If you did grow up low income struggling, it's 10 of y'all, right? According to the sister, y'all didn't have name brand stuff. Whether it was name brand food, name brand clothes, things of that nature. So in my experience, when I see people who grew up like in poverty or low income, they finally get some money. Yeah, they do. They do want to splurge, right? They do want to wear the name brand and things of that nature, because growing up as a kid, a teenager, they didn't have that, you know. And we all know kids are horrible, so they'll tease you for any and everything, right? You could be the smartest kid in the class, they're gonna tease you for being smart. You could be the dumbest kid in the class, they're gonna tease you for being dumb, you know. Like the only person who usually don't get teased is the kid with the designer stuff. And that's just my experience from being a teacher. If you were smart, there was a good chance somebody was gonna hate on you, right? Because they feeling insecure because they not as bright. If you're not that bright, they gonna tease you because now they a little bit smarter than you. Like, but the only kids that I recall not necessarily getting teased was the kids who was head to toe designer, because that's what they wanted to be. They wanted to be the kid to get the new Jordans, da 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 da, and all that stuff. So, what do y'all think? Do you think that if you are the one out of your siblings to make it, whatever that looks like, oh, y'all got to plug up my laptop. Whether that in this case, Glorilla becoming a successful rapper, whether it's, you the one who go to college and you end up, getting you a job with a corporation, and you work your way up to what they call it C-suite type position, and now you making, multiple six figures. Are you obligated to help your family or help your friends? What do y'all think? So while y'all put in the chat, I'm gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna say no. And I'm gonna tell you why. And it ain't always been no. So let me say that. It ain't always been no. But I'm gonna tell you why. You can't help everybody, right? Because some people, do we all need help at some point? Absolutely. Everybody at some point need help, whether it's financial, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional support or whatever. We all need somebody. We gonna all need somebody to lean on. Ain't that how the song go? But I do not think that you are obligated to help. And what I mean by that is, how could Glorilla, since we're using her as an example, let's say she got 100,000 liquid, but she is a star. So it's a certain expectation as to what she should drive, where she should live, how she should present, right? She should have the head to toe Gucci or whatever, this, and that. So let's say if her monthly expenses is running about 20,000, what if she don't ever get another hit? What if she don't get no royalties? What if she don't get asked to be on no touring? If all she got is 100,000 right now in her account, how can she maintain her image until her next hot single, and then take care of 9 other siblings to a certain level, right? It's crazy. So I think the answer is no. If y'all are familiar with Keisha Cole, her sister Neffy, it was like the same thing with Glorilla and her sister. They had a show. Here it is. Keisha say, "Okay, we're gonna do we're gonna do this show this away for you, the mama Frankie, who for many years had substance abuse problems. Had a bunch of kids. Some of them she didn't even know where they was at because I guess they got taken." At birth because of drugs in the system and things of that nature. So it was just a real messy situation. And another case of survivor's remorse. On the show, I remember using the show as an example because my kids, at that time, I was teaching on the west side of North Lawndale, and they just all felt like if I could just become like, a rapper or this, and that, because in their head, it's like money will get my family out of this situation, right? Which it could. But if your mind is still in the hood, it don't matter. And so even with Keisha Cole, at that time she was hot, she was making money. Here it is. I didn't agree to do this show. So you, mama, and whatever other siblings are getting a check. She was paying for, I believe she was paying for Neffy's house. She just told Neffy, like, I will hold you down and I'll pay help with the mortgage, but you got to get a job. Neffy didn't want to get a job. And then she want to go back and forth and hold on to resentment, but it was never, in my opinion, fully towards Frankie, who was the mama, who was not very apologetic, never willing to just say, I failed y'all, I had substance abuse, and that's it, but I believe Neffy, was jealous of Keisha because Keisha ended up getting adopted by a more middle-class family, whereas Neffy, I don't think ever got adopted. She was in and out of like foster care and group homes, and she kept running away, and she would run away to Frankie. Well, if Frankie is living in the streets, what do you expect? So you can't get mad because Keisha, found herself in a foster care household that ended up adopting her and giving her a more middle-class existence. And then here it is. When she got on, she come back to get y'all and try to put y'all in a position to win. And y'all still didn't even want to do that. It's crazy. So it's like, I feel like all that drama played a little bit into Keisha Cole's downfall. Because Keisha Cole can sing, she had great songs, but I think all the drama, and then when she cut them off, because it was like it's never enough. It I could, it's never enough. Then when she cut them off, they did the same thing Glorilla's sister doing. They talking to everybody, and Keisha cut us off, and she know we ain't got nothing, and this, and that. It's just like, we all got to get out here and grind, you know. Let's see. Melissa said something. She said, right now I'm in a situation where Michelle is helping me out with some things, and that is because she wanted to. Okay. The end of the day, I know just because we are sisters, it didn't mean I'm entitled to what my sister had. Thanks so much for sharing that, Melissa. Because that's the thing. Glorilla's sister, it was funny. It was funny because she just kept saying she obligated. I is obligated. Obligated. Like if it was a drinking competition, drinking one of them drinking games, we'd have all been pissy drunk because she kept just saying obligated. And I guess people on her live, because she was live when she did this video, was like, she not obligated, you know. And this, that, and the third. Yeah, but see, that's a mature response, Melissa, and thank you for sharing that. Like, people be feeling like, the family member or the friend or whoever who has more at the time, that they obligated, or they somehow feel like they entitled to it, And to me, once that's the vibe, I'm done. I'm done. Because everybody out here working hard for their money. I was sitting up there, let's go back to Bad Bunny for a minute. I was sitting up there watching it probably for the 20th time. And I'm like, this dude gotta, you gotta remember all the song, all the words. And then, of course, if it's like an edited version, because maybe if it's profanity and stuff like that, you got to remember all these words. You got to remember to look at this camera when you say this, and do, look up here when you say that, and spin and turn and be here. And I'm like, people think, and because some fools have made it, right? But some people think that when these rappers, singers get on stage, that it's easy. It ain't easy. I know I couldn't do it. I tell you right now, I could never be an actress. When I was a teacher, we had gotten a grant to do, was it like a drug prevention play, or was it anti-bullying? It was one of the two. I can't remember. But we got a grant to do it. Now I made sure my kids knew their lines, and then we had some dancing in there because it was a performing arts school. Well, Miss T did not. I didn't memorize some lines. It was so crazy. So I had this clipboard. It was so obvious that I was kind of reading my lines from there. I'm like, I gotta teach. I gotta grade papers. I gotta do all this. I ain't got time to be memorizing no lines. So when I watch a movie or a TV program and you get lost in it and you really think that, this is real, right? Like, golly, it's just like, we take for granted, like, how deep it is, to be a performer, to be an actor or actress and things of that nature, So it's like people are out here putting in the work, My cousin, I think I've shared this before. If you all watch The Shy, or if you've ever watched R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet, my cousin in the R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet, he's the what was his name? I think his character's name was Rufus. Was it Rufus? But he was the pastor or whatever because I know it's like a million chapters to that song, but like, the first couple of chapters. And then he plays Darnell on The Shy, if y'all ever watched that show. He's been in movies. he still does a lot of stage plays and things of that nature. Matter of fact, he has a short film on Tubi right now. God, what's the name of it? Quiet House or something like that. I don't know. It was pretty good. I watched it the other day. Um, but I couldn't imagine. I know what he went through. I know when he came back to Chicago to raise his kids, and he said, "T, I want to really get into my acting." And he started in the local like black theaters, doing acting and things like that. And then that first big thing was the R. Kelly video. And I mean, we remember when it premiered, like we was all at his house, like it might as well have been like a Michael Jackson video premiere, so for anybody in our family to feel like, well, he lives in California and he has a nice house, and thinking he made a money or this and that, so he should help me out because I ain't living in California. This not like, no, that's not how it go. That's not how it go. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't really know. Like I was there. I remember because he was living in Houston. Not to put my cousin business out there, but he was living in Houston, and I had moved down to Houston and was gonna finish school down there. But I didn't like it. And so when he said, I think I'm gonna go back home, I got these kids to raise and I want to get it back into acting, I was like, wow. And so to see him now, it's just like he got it from the mud. He don't owe nobody. He don't owe my cousins, which is his siblings. He don't owe his dad. He don't owe anybody. Because he put in the work. You know, um, and people tend to think, family and friends tend to think, like I say, if they see you on TV, or if you're not the one who's constantly asking. And let me make that personal. In my family, I don't even ask, even when there's times that I could have, used some help, because I know they're gonna be like, I ain't got it. But because I don't ask, and because I don't walk around like, woe is me, they always come to me. I think in the last year I've kind of pretty let everybody know what it is, so they stop coming to me. Like, bro, I'm 50 something years old. I got six figures in student loan debt that I want to get rid of by the time I'm 55. I have no money to borrow. I have no money to loan you. I mean, like, sorry. I'm out here. Here I am, an NP. I am an entrepreneur with my own clinic. I am, still doing sister locks. My sister lock people love me. So yes, that's part of the reason why I haven't stopped doing it. But also, hey, it's money. You know, it's money. Those people come and get their hair done on a regular basis. So that's cash coming in. Yeah. So, hey, uh, Ada Soul. So other examples in this whole survivor's remorse. I remember Charles Barkley saying, if y'all don't know who Charles Barkley is, he, a famous retired NBA player. And so I remember Charles Barkley saying that everybody can get $5,000. So that was his thing, because he was talking about how many professional athletes, excuse me, basketball players, football players, people that he know. He said these fools, they made millions of dollars, but they, again, this kind of survivor's remorse. They either probably grew up in poverty or low income, so they spending all this money like their career is just gonna be forever, or they trying to save everybody, right? Because their friends are making them feel bad. Oh, you done left the hood and forget about us, man. All that stuff. So Charles Barkley said everybody can get $5,000. He said, because I understand everybody can fall on hard times. He said, but you can only come to me one time. So it don't matter how much you need. If you like, man, I just need 500, I'm gonna give you 5,000. But this is your one time. Consider it a blessing, a gift, or whatever. You can't come back here. And I said, that's more than fair. That's more than fair. And that in my eyes, it's like his way of, having balance, recognizing that, a lot of my friends did not invest well, do right with their money, or whatever the case may be. I understand. Here's 5,000, but you can't come back. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely more than fair. And talking about feeling entitled, another example, like what Melissa was saying, that she don't feel entitled. She, grateful for that help that her sister's giving her. Michael Jordan. So people probably don't know. Michael Jordan got what? I think one brother and two sisters or something like that. But one of his sisters, this was a million years ago, and this is all, pre-social media, that kind of stuff. She ended up talking with somebody, one of these talk shows. That's how things got out there, right? That the people will go to the talk shows. And she was kind of complaining and saying the same thing the Glorilla sister trying to say, like, he don't help his siblings. He got all this money and he got cars and he got this and he got that, and he don't help us. Well, honey, Miss Dolores Jordan, Michael Jordan's mama, got right on there. I don't know if it was Oprah or whoever she went and talked to. And she said it straight. She said, let me tell you something. My daughter is wrong. Her brother has bought her a house. Her brother has put both of her kids through college. And her brother employs her through his non-for-profit, and she makes a good salary. So basically, the mama came on TV and shut that down. And it was like, this is his money. This is based on his effort. This what he's done for you and your kids is more than generous. But she felt like she should have luxury cars and she should, go on luxury trips and this, that, and the third. It's like, it blows my mind. It's like, if my brother was to win one of these big lotteries, well, he might not be a good example, because he definitely gonna go buy everything known to man. So he not a good, hey Leo, he not a good example. So let me say this. It's a handful of people that we kind of have an agreement, right? Or understanding that if we was to win one of these big lotteries, which I don't even play those kind of lotteries no more, because I think the tickets is like $3, $4, $5. I'm like, okay, that's too much money. But like those megas and Powerballs, right? My mama, my husband, my cousin, Nikki in Georgia, my best friend. I think that's it. Yeah. And I assume my brother. I guess I'll put him in there. But we have an understanding, right? Like, obviously me and my husband have understanding. But like my mom, if I won, obviously, I mean, my mama don't work. She's been retired since she was 51. So it'll be 20 years this July. But I don't need my mama, like, if she get me to zero, I'm happy. You see what I'm saying? I don't need to, if she win 200 million, I don't need to have 100 million. You see what I'm saying? If she give me to zero, that's just like, winning the lottery. And so with my cousin and my best friend, we kind of have that same mentality. Like, if I win, I win one of these 1 billion type or whatever, like, absolutely, I'm getting you to zero. But if I win, maybe 100 million, something like that, I'll just knock out your biggest bill. So for them, they always say, just get rid of my house. For me, I'm like, just get rid of my student loans. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be like coming back. You didn't pay my student loans off. Then I'm gonna come back and be like, well, can you give me, or I like to get a luxury car, or this, and that. It's just like, it's nonstop. People sometimes really do believe that money grow on trees. It gotta be. Let's see. Leo said, I don't help anyone who has the capacity to help themselves, but won't. I have zero problem saying no. I know that's right. Okay. And so let's look at some examples of survivor's remorse when they don't say no, like Leo said. When you're trying to save everybody, right? because you feeling like you the one who made it out the hood. So now I gotta make sure everybody is good. Can y'all guess who I'm gonna talk about? Um, Mr. MC Hammer. So I think we all of a particular age. Y'all should know who MC Hammer is. At one point, I think Hammer was the highest paid rapper at one time, and I don't know if that was his last tour or what. I think that was like the two. Yeah, I think it was the Too Legit tour when that album came out, because that's the one. Like before, like Hammer Don't Hurt Him and all that stuff. Uh, that was more. He was still kind of more hood, more urban. But once he got the Too Legit and started sampling, Rick James and stuff like that, he went on over to the pop side, and that's when that money just blew up. Well, I don't think Hammer grew up like dirt poor, nothing like that. I think he definitely, got exposed. I think he used to be like a ball boy for the A's, Oakland A's and stuff like that. But needless to say, he had made a whole lot of money. And what did he do? Which a lot of people do. He went and bought, a big mansion. He had, gold faucets in the bathroom, in the kitchen, just over the top, right? So he had spent a lot of money on that house. And that tour, I think he had 100 dancers or 50 dancers or something like that. I know, maybe it must have been 100 dancers. I think he had 100 dancers, and he was paying them. Was it like 50,000 a week or something, or 50,000 a month? I just remember him saying that his payroll was $500,000 every month during that tour. And he was, he was definitely packing the stadiums and things of that nature. And I remember him saying specifically, because people were saying, like, you got way more. Like, most people will have, maybe 6 dancers or whatever. You got a whole production. You got 100 people on stage, plus the band and the this and And I remember him saying, I just want to get everybody opportunity to get out the hood, opportunity to make some money, opportunity to, go buy and get, buy clothes and be fresh and this, that, and the third. Well, if y'all, of a particular age, you should know that Hammer ended up having to file bankruptcy. Now, was he broke? According to your just, your typical middle class standards? No. I think he had maybe 10 mil left, but that house, you know, all the stuff, his the money coming in went down, because then gangster rap kind of really hit hard, and so everybody was dissing them in their records and stuff like that. So he wasn't doing tours like that no more. He wasn't making that kind of money. So he had, you know, nickels coming in, but $10 bills going out. So he ended up filing bankruptcy, leaving that house, which I want to say he paid 60 million for it or something just ridiculous. Um, and downsizing his life. But I do, if I'm not mistaken, many years later, on an interview or something I read, I remember him saying something like, I wish I wouldn't have tried to save everybody. Like, yeah, I didn't need that house. I wish I had somebody who would have said, hey, I know you feeling yourself, and you might feel like the world think that you're supposed to have this big, monster of a house, and things of that nature. It's like, yeah, survivor's remorse can be a doozy. Thankfully, I don't have survivor's remorse. I don't have survivor's remorse because I got student loan debt to show for what I did to try to elevate myself in life. You know what I mean? And so I got people out here who don't have one college degree, but they got a skilled trade, and that skilled trade allowed them to go make way more money than I'm making right now. So Everybody, I think, at some point will definitely need, probably need a hand up, right? Especially if you're not getting any kind of inheritance, or grandma and granddad, didn't have some stock, saved for you when you turn 18 to give you a, leg up in life. Um, yeah, there's gonna more than likely be a time that you either in your past or current where you might need a little help. But needing a little help to get over a hump, to fill in the gaps here and there, is totally different than thinking that you supposed to live the way, you know, one of your siblings or a cousin or somebody, you know, in your family because they made it. I know personally, and I don't know who gonna watch this, so I'm trying to be delicate, but I know people who I feel hold a lot of resentment towards family because the family made them feel so guilty that they were supposed to hold them down, when in reality the money they was making really wasn't, it really wasn't a whole lot, you know what I'm saying, to be trying to hold the whole family down. It's crazy, you know, absolutely crazy. So that's it, y'all. I had to get this off my spirit. And like I said, I was gonna do a long form video, but I was like, no, this might be better to do in a live. Um, yeah. Survivor's remorse. It ain't just when something tragic happened. And people gotta stop looking at net worths and things of that nature. Because net worth don't mean nothing. Well, in my opinion, it don't transfer into liquid money. It don't mean you can go put your hands. That's just like me. I've made $1 million in my lifetime. I've been working since I was 18. I probably did made maybe 1.5, maybe. I would have to go back and estimate, in my lifetime. Should I go walking around saying I'm a millionaire? You feel what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine the response, right? If I went around like, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. I know what it feels like to have made $1 million. I could say that, right? One is giving the vibe like I still got it. Or what have you. So Glorilla's, sister feeling like, because she's seeing what her sister doing and this, that, and the third, that her, like, I can't stand that. Y'all done seen them. I can't stand when these young people, they have like the brick of money and they post it. I hate those, because you know what it screamed to me? I ain't got nothing, or this is literally all I got. And once I go spend this on a chain and some BS, I'm gonna be back broke. So it's just crazy. So to kind of wrap things up, Glorilla's sister is getting her little 15 minutes of fame. Um, she had ended up going on TMZ after that live, and she going back and forth with what's his name, Harvey, and the black guy with the locks. And she doing all this like, yeah, she obligated. She ain't helping none of us, which come to find out, according to Glorilla and some other evidence, it ain't true. She does help her mom. Her dad did retire from the post office. She bought him a car and a house. It's a lot of family dirt there. And shame on the sister for putting it out here for us to discuss, right? Um, but at the end of the interview with TMZ, they like, well, how much do you feel if she really do got like 500K liquid, right? How much do you think she should give each sibling? The girl sat up there and said 2,500. So they said, wait a minute, you said 2,500? And she's like, yeah, like 2,500 a piece. And they say, do you mean 25,000? She said, no, like 2,500 a piece. So you didn't just sat up here, and I think some of it was exaggeration, of course, but you didn't went out here and put all this dirt on your parents, your siblings, and your most successful sibling name for 25 funky dollars. 2,500 funky dollars. Unbelievable. But in the midst of this, people started saying, hey, this ain't cool. If you down, you hurting, send me your cash app or send me your this, that. I seen 2,500. People started doing it. Then you got what I consider like hood type podcast. They started booking her. Now this girl is sitting up here saying like, to book me, I guess it's $500 or this, and that. And so she getting her little 15 minutes of fame. She then went and bought a chain. So she done made some money, right? She did a little promo for some little local food place or something like that. You know what she went and did with that money? She went and bought a chain because she still got hood mentality, right? She worried about, and it's like all I keep saying is, Lord, protect her. Even though she crazy is all get up. Protect her. Because as much as you talking and running your mouth, it's a bunch of people who watching. And if from what I see, Memphis is real grimy, just like Chicago. So you sitting up here running your mouth. Your poor mama then had to resign from FedEx because you didn't told the people what shift she worked. Just ain't got no sense. Ain't got no sense. Let's see. Esty said after what happened with Nancy, yeah, I wouldn't show off any of my money. And don't even get me started with that. That still is such a strange development. It's like, what is going on? I feel like in that case, we're gonna find out it's somebody in their family, a family friend, something like that. You know, it don't smell right. It don't seem right. Something ain't right with that story. But yeah, so they call him the internet is terrible, okay? They calling Glorilla's sister Brorilla. So, you know, she appears to be a lesbian and she is masculine presenting, meaning in the hood they call them studs. And so they calling her Brorilla. The internet is a mess, y'all. The internet is a mess. But yeah, y'all. So I know it's a little bit different vibe than what we normally talk about, but I wanted to get this off my chest, see what y'all thought, you know. Um, Thanks to Melissa for sharing her real life experience. But yeah, y'all, we just got to keep our discernment high. We don't want to. I'm at a point in my life. I'm 51. I want the you know, God willing, as many summers that I have left, I want them to be with a good measure of peace and joy and happiness. So I ain't taking no job opportunities. All money ain't good money. Let me just say it that way, right? All money ain't good money. Um, the last job I had outside of the clinic, I knew within 3 days that I was like, I don't think this is gonna be a good fit. And on that fifth day, I had applied for a school nurse position because at that time, my focus for getting a job was I got to get a job that's going to let me accumulate credit so I can get my student loans forgiven. And the school nursing position, of course, was paying a whole lot less than what the case management position was. But I listened to my husband and I didn't go with what my inner voice was saying, which was quit this job and go do that school nurse. And I think had I done that, I think I would still be there, you know, because it's like a teacher schedule, summers off. I think I would have still been there, you know. Even though I have no desire to teach kids no more, but being a school nurse, you know, it's a different vibe. But yeah, y'all. So let's make sure that we listen to our own discernment because sometimes our minds can get flooded with other people's opinions and thoughts. So yeah, that's it. I don't know if I'm gonna watch this All-Star game, y'all. If somebody had told me 10 years ago that I just would not have uh, any real interest in the NBA, I would have took that bet because I would have said you are a lie. It's so whack. It's so whack now. Everybody just want to shoot 4 pointers, basically. Like it's no defense. It's just whack. So I think my husband gonna watch the All Star game. I'm gonna put some refills in, wash my clothes, and get ready for the week. And that's about it. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Do y'all like the 4 o'clock? I kind of like this 4 o'clock Sunday live versus 7:30. I know we would have to do it a little bit later when I had Jerron and Tim on, which I said I was gonna reach out to them this week and see when we can do an XJW kickback live in March. But yeah, do y'all kind of like the 4 o'clock Central Time live? I kind of like it. Um, but yeah, what y'all got going on for the rest of the week before I get on out of here? Put these refills in. Did the chat? Did the chat? Did it freeze y'all? Let's see. Can somebody put a 1 so I know it didn't freeze? Or maybe y'all typing. I don't know. But let me put something in there. Let me see. Oh, okay, it showed up. So it ain't freeze. At least on my end. So all right, y'all. Well, y'all have a good one. Okay, Esty said anytime is great. I like the Sundays. Last Thursday, I almost got one because I don't know. I was just feeling like, oh, I should get on, for old times. But I do like Sunday. I kind of like the 4 o'clock. Maybe because it's still light outside. I don't know. What was I about to say? Okay, so yeah, just a heads up. Content that's coming like this week will be a little heavier on health and wellness. But I think y'all gonna like it. Gonna find it very informative. Um, and then today I had an idea about I don't know the title yet, but it's basically it's gonna be called, well, the tentative title now is 3 Lies Jehovah's Witnesses Tell Themselves. So I think y'all will like that one. So maybe I'll do health and wellness, that one, health and wellness, and then I got one about a YouTuber who's getting back on my radar because people are strange. Like this girl, I don't know, but so maybe we'll do that. A health and wellness, uh, that JW one, health and wellness, and then the one about the YouTuber. But I promise y'all, I know I say this every week or whatever, but I'm gonna knock it out this week. I see I even got my calendar down here. When I write it down in my calendar, things happen. When I keep it up here, that's when things go awry. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. It is actually nice, really nice here in the Chicagoland area. Like it got up to almost like 60. I had took the dogs for a while. It was nice. Put my hoodie on, didn't need no coat and things of that nature. But yeah, I'm gonna go be productive this evening. Y'all have a great week, and I may not see y'all next Sunday. Ooh, I got a busy Sunday. So maybe I will do a live this coming Thursday. Um, we shall see. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.